Hey guys, we're looking at this new radio I got recently. Little backstory, I bought this thing to replace I had a CC Solar Observer radio, and I had that radio for years and years, and it got pretty good AM reception, but it wasn't stellar. It was just, it was better than most things. It was better than most of your run-of-the-mill transistor radios. It was an improved thing, and it was neat that you could put it in the window and let it charge up with the sun and stuff. But the tuner knob actually broke on the thing. A little string that makes the dial go back and forth, it broke or came loose or something. So the radio was rendered useless to me. I couldn't change the station anymore, and with AM, a lot of times you need to micro adjust. Well, this radio has really impressed me. I replaced my old CC Solar Observer with this Sangean, and I'll have the model number down in the description or in the video title. But this thing has been really impressive to me. I've got a couple of complaints about it. We'll get to that later on in the video, but for right now, this thing, it's just, I'd say it's about twice as good as my old AM radio as far as clarity and voice. It's not a very big speaker. Let me put my hand up here so you can kind of see. It's, I think it's a 3 or a 3.5, maybe even smaller. Don't quote me on that. I'm not real sure of the particulars of the size of the speaker. All I know is that it sounds pretty darn good for a tiny little speaker like that. So yeah, you're not gonna, it's not a boom box. You're not gonna take this and break dance on the corner with it probably. But for just having a little radio, and it does have FM also, and a weather band, which is necessary for me because I'm using this thing. I find myself leaning more and more on the AM radio and FM for entertainment, because when I'm out on my off-grid property, I have no internet, I have no electricity, so there's very few things I can do to kind of provide myself some entertainment, and it's very quiet out there, so it helps sometimes to to have a little rock and roll or whatever you like playing in the background back there, maybe a little AM radio. But no, I went back and forth on this because I had to buy this radio off eBay. I did a lot of research. I found a couple of videos that were helpful to me, but I couldn't find anyone really using it the way I'm using it, and that's particularly for AM. That's why I got the thing, and man, it comes in crystal clear. Now, of course, with all AM stations, if you've got interference like storms coming in on those nights, it's still almost impossible to listen to it, but it's better than my other one. My other one would pick up every lightning crack, you could hear it in the radio, and this one picks up a lot of them, but because it's very sensitive. But you can actually adjust the sensitivity to change some of that out. There's a way, I think you hold this when you have it on an AM station. I'll turn it down here so YouTube doesn't get me. You hold it on an AM station and you can hit this display button and hold it down, and you can change the bandwidth frequency. So it goes from 1 to 6. And one thing I've noticed is that it also, if I'm remembering right, the lower the number, the more bassy it sounds. And then as you go up to 6, it gets more trebly sounding and more clear. So anyways, this is our local station here.
Percolating issue now in many ways, and in some ways you got to give Trump a lot of credit. He is not.
And I'll switch over to FM for just a moment. It's got 2 FMs, 2 AMs, and an auxiliary, so you can plug in like an MP3 or whatever to it. I like this, that it has a bar here that shows you how much power the signal is coming in, how strong the signal is. So, and also there's a little headphone signal here indicating that it's coming in stereo. So that's nice. I can't let that play too long because they'll probably get me on, trying to use their tracks or something, even though I'm trying to show this radio off. On the FM channel, As you can see, each individual one, it moves up one point each time. On the AM station, however, I believe it's 10. Yes, so it goes from 1,000 to 1010, 1020, 1030. So, if I have to get to my complaints, that's one of my complaints about it, is I kind of don't like this push button tuning here. I wish it had a second knob here, like the volume knob, or even better yet, to me it would have been better to have the tuning knob here and the volume be a push button. That would be okay, because I don't know, I just like the feel of a knob when I'm tuning a radio station, so it's taken me a little bit to get used to that. It does have an alarm clock on it, so you can use this for like a bedside type table and use this for an alarm. And it's a really good alarm because it's not one of these ones that screams at you from the beginning. It kind of gradually builds up, and so it's a lot nicer to wake up to than a screaming banshee. So anyways, one of my complaints is that since I use this at night, I wish that one of these buttons would have been a sleep timer, so that I could set the thing for like 30-45 minutes as I'm falling asleep, and it would shut off automatically at whatever program time you put in there. But they don't have that, so you have to, right when you're falling asleep, you have to reach over and hit the power button. And one of the problems with that is every time you hit a button, if you're using this as a bedside table, I keep my room really dark, so every time you hit a button, this light lights up. Well, that light right now is not very bright, but with no lights on in the middle of the night, it's pretty bright. So I kind of wish that there was a way to bypass that or set that up to where it would or would not come on at different times, so that would be a little nicer. But and one other complaint is that it kind of goes into two complaints. A lot of people said that they should have put a handle on this unit, and I agree. It should have had a little carry handle up here, because what it forces you to do is carry it like this. And this material here is that type of material that every time, it's super glossy, so every time you touch it, it leaves a fingerprint on it. It makes the radio look all kind of, kind of gross looking. And if they'd have done it in a matte finish or something, that probably wouldn't have happened. But since they did it in this high gloss, every fingerprint shows up on it. And since you have no handle, you're going to constantly have fingerprints all over the thing. So I don't really like that. Antenna's good. It seems high quality. The buttons all feel good. The knob feels good. It takes 4 D-cell batteries, and I've left this thing on a couple of nights when I've fallen asleep listening to Coast, and I'll wake up in the morning and look over and the thing's still on. So I've ran it, and I ran it out last time I went out off grid. I ran it almost the whole time, and I kept expecting to see the battery symbol to be low, but you can see here it's still full. The thing works really great. I'm really impressed with the unit. I wish I'd have bought it sooner. It was about $70, I think, on eBay or Amazon, either one. So for me, for my purposes, it's been a really good buy and a really good source of entertainment. Over to the side here, there's not a lot going on. It does come, and I like this, my C Crane radio did not come with a power adapter. This one comes with the adapter. It has an auxiliary in for your MP3 or whatever device, and headphones out. And there's not a lot going on over here except for the volume knob. On the back here, you've got your battery box, and believe it or not, there is an extra D way back in here, so that's how it holds 4 of them. But yeah, so far I'm impressed with the build quality. And as I was researching it, I really looked at the CC Radio Plus and several of the CC radios, because that's what I had before, and I found out that the older, I don't know if this is still true or not, but in the older days they used to be called CC Radio by Sangean, or Sangean CC Radio, or whatever. So I got a sneaking suspicion all these things are made in the same factory. So I went ahead and went with this Sangean because of some of the other review videos and the other articles I read about it. The weather station's great. I've used it here at my current location and at my off-grid location, and in both places it tunes in just perfect. So for me, for a source of entertainment, for a source of news, for a source of just staying somewhat connected even when I'm off-grid, this has been a really valuable, really good purchase. I'm glad I bought it. That's all I can say. Go out and get yourself one if you're on the fence about this particular radio. They have several different models if you don't need the weather. I was actually thinking about getting one that was the shortwave version, because when you look on AM radios on YouTube, you'll find that many people are looking more into the shortwave side of it. They're not really reviewing the AM side of the radio. They're just looking at the shortwave stuff, and I really didn't need the shortwave stuff. I'm not really that into that. I'm just more into being able to get a good AM reception wherever I am, and so far this radio has really impressed me. So guys, that's my conclusion on it. So far I've had the thing for about a month and a half now, and I use my radio every day. So I mean, I've spent a lot of time with this thing and kind of trying to get it to do different things, and so far I've been really impressed with it. Of course, like any AM or any radio, you want to keep it away from electrical interference because it is sensitive. It can pick that up. So but anyways, guys, in conclusion, this has been a great purchase for me, and I highly recommend it. So thanks for stopping by, and have a great day.